if I don't do this? Okay. So what is the third series? What we have? Third series. This one, right? So first two, I think we are comfortable with first two. I hope so. Let me do. First, we'll go with what is the third interview series, and then we'll go to the other parts in case if you have any doubts. I'll just open this up. Questions. Yeah, I have here. These are the questions what I posted. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 series, right? So I will answer them. In case if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay. Before I answer these questions, I would like to show you one important thing because few people are not able to understand the traces completely, what they need to set up when they have problematic issues. So I will just show you in a very simple manner so that you will be able to understand how it works and what needs to be traced when you have any problematic application. Okay. So you are able to see my screen, right? Before I move on.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will start from the scratch and show you in front of you so that it will be useful. Okay. So imagine I have a problematic application or problematic store procedure. Okay, so you have to set up a trace to understand how it works. Trace or external events, doesn't matter. Of course, external events are lightweight. Trace is bit heavyweight. So you are supposed to use external events, but still I'm showing you the concepts rather than the differences between the trace and external events. This is not about profiler versus external events. This is about understanding the events within them. Okay, so let me just quickly write a store procedure, one dummy store procedure, create procedure name as begin. I'll say select top one star from sys logins. Select top one star from sys users. And then one join statement between them. Select star from sys logins. SL join sys users on SU1 SL.SID equal to SU.SID. That's it. Begin and this is a store procedure, right? So I'm creating a store procedure, one thing, and I'm saying exec test. I will take a new window. Select top one star from sys dot, it's a tables. Select top one star from sys dot schemas. Good enough. So imagine I need to work on a performance issue. I need to set up a trace. So what are the events that you will set up? This is also an interview question. Usually people will ask you what are the events that you choose inside the profiler or external events when you have a performance issue, right? So what is the difference between them? What you need to choose is what matters most. Okay, so if I go here, I'm going to profiler. Where's profiler? Profiler. Connect. So we have some templates. Even in extend events, we will get some templates. You can use those default templates, but usually I prefer to go with blank. I don't want to use any templates. I wanted to go with my own choice. Okay, so here I'm going with my own choice. So what are the events that I need to capture? Okay, so inside the stored procedures, we have something called as RPC completed. I'll show you with a demo. Don't worry. RPC completed. That is first thing. And I'm just selecting the completed events. I'm just selecting the completed events because I'm not bothered about starting events. So I'm just worried about completed events. So that's the reason I'm focusing only on completed events. So what are the events that I need to choose? One is RPC completed. You have to understand. I will show you with an example. What is RPC completed? What is SP completed? And what is SP statement completed? These three. And then if I go to T-SQL, I have something called as batch completed, statement completed. So these are the 5 events what I went with. Okay, SP statement completed, SP completed, RPC completed, SQL batch completed, and SQL statement completed. Okay, 5 events. So I'm choosing a database on DemoDB. I don't want to get the nonsense. So I'm just doing this on DemoDB and I'm clicking on run. Okay, nothing is running. Everything is empty now. So let's run these 2 statements together. Only 2 statements. I got the output and see the events that got captured. Focus on the events. So one is SQL statement completed. Statement. So if you see here, this line of code, select start from systables is one statement and select start from sys.schema is one statement, but I executed both together at one shot. So when I executed both together, I got, if you see the events, first one is SQL statement completed. This is the statement that got captured. And for the second one, it is sys.schemas. And for the batch, I got both the statements. Okay. That means if you are troubleshooting any application, you have to know the differences between SQL statement completed and SQL batch completed. So what is batch here? What did you understand by the term batch?
Multiple transactions in one session.
Yeah. So when you are troubleshooting, so it depends upon your code actually, but I tend to go with batch. One batch is good enough. I can understand what is that batch is doing at one shot. That is first thing. Second thing, if you are writing multiple statements inside SQL Server, for example, it's a lengthy code. You are not using any store procedure. You are just using ad hoc statements inside the SSMS by opening a new window, and you are writing a lengthy statements. If that is the case, the problem what you need to understand is if you go with SQL statement completed, it will give you the duration for each statement. If you see here, this is 3 microseconds, this is 0 microseconds, and this is together it is taking 111 microseconds. Micro or milli, I don't know exact term. I think it is micro. So this is the seconds that is taking. So this is for individual statement and this is for batch. Okay, you have to understand the differences when you are troubleshooting. So if you have some lengthy code inside a new window, I mean inside the SSMS window by writing a huge statements, and if you wanted to figure out which statement is taking longer duration, then you have to choose SP statement completed. But if it is entire batch, that is causing a problem. And for example, it's I mean there are no multiple statements inside that batch. It's just a single batch. In that case, you can just tend to go with SQL batch completed. So it is up to you guys. So if you are troubleshooting, especially if it is coming from management studio, usually people go with SQL statement completed and SQL batch completed. These 2 things. Okay, is this clear before I move on? Leaving out Harsha because he knows, I guess. So I want others to answer. Who are there? Yeah.
So here you are saying like it's a SSM is only, but sometimes you will get transactions from .NET applications now.
Exactly.
So
I'm coming over there. I'm just showing you from SSMS what is the difference between statement completed and batch completed from SSMS. Yeah. This first one is from SSMS. Okay.
Understood.
Okay. So now let's go to application. Imagine you said .NET or something, right? So I'm running an application. Some application and it's running some code. I don't know what is that. Okay. So imagine this is an application. I launched that application. And now if you see, I got few statements. Okay. So I'm stopping it here just to show you what is the difference between the different events. Okay. So in real time also you will get the same thing, right? The first 3 events related to application by name SSMS, if you can see, Management Studio, right? And now I got something by name, problematic application. So I am running a .NET code behind the scenes. So I need to capture what it is doing from profiler or extend events. Doesn't matter. You have to understand the events here. I'm just focusing on events. So just like SQL statement completed, there is one statement inside this problematic code. And for example, this is doing DBCC free pro cache. And just like that, this is also doing batch completed. So if you see here, both of them are doing the same thing. Getting the difference? This is what I told you. SQL statement completed. If you see this one and this one, these are individual statements. And if I run this is a batch set these 2 statements together. Here also the same thing. It is coming from application this time instead of Management Studio. And if you see, this is one statement and this is also batch. So this is a statement and a batch. This is just one line. So both of them are coming together. So it is up to you to guys. So most of the times you don't need statement completed. If you have problems and you need to understand into a deeper level, then you can go with statement completed. Usually batch completed is good enough. And now coming to another event, it is saying statement completed again. And I'm running a statement here, some query, okay, from the application. It's not from SSMS. It is doing something here, select stop 10, blah, blah, blah. And okay, and SP completed. What is SP completed? If you see any SP completed events, means this store procedure got executed. So if I wanted to know a store procedure name, only store procedure name, then I have to go with SP completed. And if I wanted to know what is written inside the store procedure, then I have to go with statement completed and batch completed. Again, I'm saying usually it is not required to go with statement completed. If you have any issues and you wanted to troubleshoot in a deeper manner, then you can go with statement completed. Batch completed is good enough, usually. And finally, you see, now I got RPC completed. RPC means it's coming from remote procedure call, means it's coming from Java, .NET, PHP, whatever it is. So what are the events that I need to choose? If it is from the application end, if it is from the application end, then I have to choose RPC completed, SQL batch completed. These 2 are usually good enough. Again, I repeat, if it is coming from any application, RPC completed and batch completed. These 2 are good enough. And if you have any problems, then you can think about SP statement completed also. Okay, if I'm doing the same thing from SSMS, again, this time I'm using the store procedure. I'm executing a store procedure. Let's see how it looks. I'm starting, nothing is there. Okay, few events got captured. Oh, I'm still running this application, sorry. Let me stop this and I'll start it from the scratch. Just a store procedure in front of you. So what are the events that would get captured if I execute this? Let's see. So these are the events what I got. Of course, this is something related to internal to SQL Server. It is running some stats or something, which is not required. So this is my statement. Select top 1 star from sys.logins, the one what I have written. This is the first thing. So what is the event, what it is capturing? Inside the store procedure, inside, see this SP means store procedure. Inside the store procedures, I am capturing the statement completed, that got completed. So that is sys.syslogins. And now sys.sysusers. And now it is join statement. And finally, this SP completed. Are you getting the differences between them from the application, from the SSMS, from the events, what you need to capture? If you have any questions, you are most welcome. So what is the conclusion? What are the events that I need to capture if I have any performance issues? What's your take after looking at this? No sound. Disconnected or what? Or people are there? Harsha, you can also go ahead.
So when we have a problem and we are either we issue that it depends upon the application. We will select RPC completed and statement completed. So first we will discuss from where the problem is. According to the problem, we will select that events and we will troubleshoot accordingly.
So finally, we got 6 things. As I'm showing you, we got 6 things. Let me open my file properties. Where is property? So these are the 6 events what I selected. 5 events. RPC completed, SP completed, SP statement completed, SQL batch completed, SQL statement completed. So all these 5 events are doing different jobs, but if you can understand the differences when it is running from SSMS and when it is running from application, then you know what you need to select. Okay, so my call is, if it is from application, you have to choose RPC completed and batch completed. These 2 are good enough. Usually these 2 are good enough. And if you have any problems, then you have to choose SP statement completed. This is not required. Usually this event SP completed is not required at all. It's just show you, okay, this stored procedure got executed and it's finished. It's not required. But I'm showing you up because everything is with completed and you have many confusions between them. So I thought of showing this also. This is not at all required in real time. For sure, I can say if someone is asking you to run a trace where he wanted to see what are the stored procedures that got executed throughout the day, then you can just choose this event, only this event, not other events, because he just needs, it depends upon client's requirement. Okay, it depends upon client requirement. If client is asking you to just troubleshoot or just wanted a list of store procedures that get executed during a day, only store procedure names that gets executed during a day, then I can choose this one, SP completed. So it will give you what are the store procedures that got executed throughout the day with the relevant names of the store procedures. So if that is the case, I can go with this. No one will ask you with such kind of requirement. If anyone comes back you, it's always about performance issues. If that is the case, I have to go with RPC statement and batch completed. And again, SQL statement completed, I don't want this, but in case if you have any issues with individual statements, then you have to go with SQL statement completed. So did you understand the differences between these 5 statements, 5 events? This is a very important thing. So if when you're appearing for interviews also, you have to talk about these 5 events. Any other questions?
Vamsi,
Yeah.
if I'm running a procedure, inside the procedure, it uses a link server and calling another procedure from another server. So
Okay.
in that case, what would be the best events to select?
This events remains the same. Whether it, see, even this RPC completed. See, if you see here, let me start again. Okay, linked server is also nothing but a connectivity from A to B, right? So if you are calling a stored procedure from sitting on server A and calling this procedure to server B, which is there on server B, so it's a remote procedure call. So it is talking to server B remotely. Even in that case also, the events remains the same. There is no need to change anything. The events, what I captured here, it would remains the same. Let me run the application again to show you up. So this is the application and let it run. Where is this? Not here. Profiler, right? Where is profiler? So these are the events that are getting captured. Every time it is running something. So if you see here, this is the store procedure name with the parameter. That's why I said you don't need to choose SP statement completed. SP completed, because you will get that inside RPC completed itself. So this is not required. If you see, both of them are one and the same. Let me go here. I am not able to choose. Yeah, SP completed and RPC completed, both are same. No difference. It is also calling a store procedure with status ID 1. It is also calling the store procedure with status ID 1. So these are repetitive things. To avoid that, you have to go with things that suits your requirements. Basically, as I said, go with RPC completed and go with SQL batch completed. And if you have problems with any store procedures, you can choose SP statement completed. If you see here, I got SP statement completed. So these are the events. So my conclusion: RPC completed, SP statement completed, SQL batch completed. These three will get you all the things what you need if you are troubleshooting any performance issues. Linked server also, I can set up any linked server, but I don't have any other server to show you up. Even my managed instance is not running now, so I cannot create linked server to that. But the concept remains the same. You have to understand the concepts first. So if you have complete knowledge on concepts, you can just play with them. Okay, again, I'm saying this is the final call. So what are the 3 events that I would go with? RPC completed. That is the first one, most important one. And then SP statement completed. This is the second one. Okay, and then SQL statement completed. Sorry, SQL batch completed. These three. That's enough. You don't need to select other ones usually. In case of exceptional scenarios, as I said, if someone is asking you to to just give you the list of procedures that got executed during a day, then you can go with this event, SP completed. Or even RPC completed also will do the same job. It says what is the procedure that got completed. It won't give you the statements inside that store procedure. If you want statements, then you have to go with SP statement completed. This is a batch, guys. This is usually if you are running from SSMS, you have to choose these two. And if it is coming from store procedure, you have to choose these two. I mean, these three. Whether it is from SSMS or from application, it depends. I hope it is clear. If you are still not able to understand, you can ask me question. Or else I will go with interview questions.
On top of this, we can also do column filters to reduce the data that will be captured.
I didn't get you. Can you come again?
Yeah, on top of this, we do also column filter. For example,
column filters. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So here I am going with the database name like DemoDB database name. If you have any particular stuff that you need to investigate, then you can go with login name or object name. Depends upon your requirement. So you can do filters. You can do filters on extend events. You can do filters. So for example, to show you up, let me show this one. So if I'm monitoring RPC from extend events, if that is the case, just to show you this up, this is how it looks in extend events. The same thing, but from extend event. Instead of profiler, we are using extend event. So what we are doing here, if you see, it says create event name on server. So here we are capturing RPC completed, and we are filtering on the problematic application. Client name is problematic application. So that is how we are doing with extend events. But my focus is only on this part, events. So if you can understand the differences between these 5 events, then we are in a good shape. Of course, with proper filters. I'm not denying about filters. Filters, yes, they play important role. Because if you don't use filters, it will capture everything and you will get a huge trace file to investigate. It's not a good thing. Okay, this question, I got this question from one of our mates. So where is Divya? So she has joined in a project and she was mainly working on debugging the store procedure with extend events. So that's the reason I thought of showing to her with a class, and also for the benefit of others, I took this. Okay, I got one more question again. This is very important. I think, let me show you that question first. So this is the requirement. Any script to calculate or estimate the current IOPS at VM level and then individual disk to avoid capping. Okay, he got a requirement. Okay, he got a requirement where they need to migrate from on-premises to Azure VMs. Just a simple requirement, not to any platform as a service world, from on-premises to IaaS. But before that, he has to choose the right size, right storage on Azure VMs. So how will you? So his manager is asking him to calculate the IOPS. because Azure Data Studio will just give you the recommendations. And people, as you can see here, but here the client is not willing to go with initial recommendations given by Azure Data Studio. So now our requirement is we have to calculate the IOPS and show them up to your managers saying that, okay, these are the IOPS what we have on premises. So how will you calculate IOPS now? This is the second question what I got. Anyone knows how to calculate IOPS for the existing on-premises service? If your client says, no, I don't want to go with recommendations given by Azure Data Studio. This happens in real time for sure. Doesn't matter whether you are moving to PaaS or IaaS, you have to know what is the IOPS that is with your on-premises service. How will you calculate IOPS? Okay, something. SQL stress. Yes, SQL stress you can use. I'm not denying that. But will you run? So SQL stress, crystal benchmark, disk speed, there are many tools. There are many tools which can help you to calculate this IOPS. But usually you will run these tools when you just build the server. When the load is currently happening on the database server, so how will you calculate? Means when you are building a new server, yes, absolutely, you can use what is that, SQL stress or SQL IOism or crystal benchmark. There are many tools which can help us to identify the storage performance limits. But my question is, the server is already there, it's already running, it's happening now, and still we need to calculate storage IOPS. A basic idea. Okay, so I got this from internet. So I found this useful. So that's why I thought of just showing that up. Okay, these are if someone asks you in interview, how you calculate storage IOPS, you have to say about these 5 performance counters. Okay, I'm not going to show you this performance counters, but I'm showing you a real-time demo, like how to calculate. But I'm just letting you know, like what are the 5 performance counters that can help you to understand the storage problems. These 5 plays a vital role. These 5 will plays a vital role. Okay, we are not bothered about average. What is that? Usually people will say average disk reads per second and average disk writes per second. If you see, this is not there. Disk reads per second and disk writes per second is not there because it is coming up from disk bytes per second. So read plus write both together. Okay, why I'm showing this specifically is because many people will say average disk reads per second and average disk writes per second, and it should be less than 15 milliseconds. That is true. But I'm showing this at the higher level now. These are the 5 counters that you need to talk in interviews. And also, if you wanted to calculate storage IOPS, if you see here, it is disk transfers per second. So if you can run these 5 counters, and if you have the data with you, then you can talk about your IOPS. If you are not running that performance counters and still wanted to leverage how it looks, then we have something here, a PowerShell script, which can help you to understand how it looks, how it performs. Okay, I'm just running this. I will share this zip file and this link for you, so you can test on your environments. Yesterday, I think I tested this on one of the servers, and it is almost giving us the right results. So let me run this, and I will show you how it looks. Is that okay? Did you get the concept here? I mean, the topic what I'm discussing. This is for calculating the storage IOPS on the existing on-premises service without using SQL stress or something like that. Okay, I'll quickly run and I will show you how it looks. This is for the colleague Ravi, by name Ravi. So this is for you, Ravi. You can use this. To calculate the IOPS, I need small IO. If you're worried about disk transfers, then you have to go with large IO. So all the commands are there in that link, so you can make use of that. And I will say the path as ksets. That's it. You just need to change the path, and you just need to change the large IO to small IO to calculate the IOPS. Okay, there are so many things with storage. I will take a real-time demo. I will show it on my servers, and I will show you how it looks. But this is on my existing VM server. But it's good enough to understand the concepts. Just run this script. I'll share the scripts also, don't worry. So it is here, okay, colon, search, it is here, these two. Internally, it is using SQL IO. Let me stop this application. And also trace is not running. Okay, fine. Go to that location, disk of IOPS. Sorry. Yeah. So just run this statement. This statement is good enough to understand how my storage looks. Test file document. Okay, 1 second, guys. Why it is not taking? We can pass 1, 5, 10, 50. Cannot validate argument on the parameter test file size in GB. Okay. I think we copied properly, right? Any mistake? Hyphen test file size in GB. Okay. Okay, that is the problem. Okay, this will give you an output in few seconds. So this will give you in grid format. So you can see nicely portrayed output. Just wait for a few seconds. And by the way, one more important thing, guys, very important in real time. So if you are going with any VMs, if they ask you what is the right VM size that you have to choose, so you have to understand the sizes also. So I will talk about sizes just in a few seconds. Yes, V4 VM series, I think. Azure VM series. Just keep this very, very, very important. These are all, this belongs to real time. So just focus on that and I'll show you the important part. So if you have any VMs, what is the VM size that you will choose? We have so many VMs, right? If you see, if I drop down this in compute optimize, I got a F series. When you go with memory optimize, I got DV, D series, E series, EDV, EBDS series. So many series are there. So out of this all series, what is the VM size that you will choose when you are doing any migration from on-premises to Azure? These many missions are there, right? How will you choose the right VM series? This is an interview question. Feel like this as an interview question. How will you choose the right VM series for your migration from on-premises?
Yeah, based on Azure Data Studio recommendations.
We can use that tool. I'm not denying that. That is the starting point. You have to use Azure Data Studio as starting phase and you can go from there. Is there any other way? Because one good thing is when you are going with E-Series V5, yeah, we will talk about that today. One good thing with Azure is, I mean, one good thing with IaaS, not Azure, one good thing with IaaS is we know what is CPU. We can choose CPUs. We can choose RAM also. Because if you choose platform as a service world, there is no option for you to choose RAM because it depends upon the vCores. One vCore is equal to 5.1 GB of RAM and 7.6 or 13 point something. So there is no option for us to choose the RAM in platform as a service world. Again, I repeat, there is no option for us to choose the RAM. But in case of IAS, we have the option to choose the RAM. That is right or wrong. So that we can do. But out of these many series, what should I choose? That is the main biggest question. So Microsoft is recommending, SQL servers are best fit to go with memory optimized series. Yes, inside the memory optimized series, these are the different series what I have. Out of this different series, you have to go with this series, guys. EBDS V5. This series. This is the series that you have to go with. Out of all the memory optimized series on Azure VMs, even on memory optimized, I got EV3, DV2, EAV4, so many things, right? So out of all these things, this is the highly recommended series for SQL servers, EBDS 5. Why? Just I will show you. If you see here, if I'm going with EBDS V5, okay, I got 4 CPUs, and I got 32 GB RAM. Imagine in your on-premises also, you got 4 CPUs and 32 GB RAM. Focus on TempDB size here. It is giving us 150 GB by default. You don't need to do anything. If you choose this series, you will get 150 GB of D drive. D drive is usually you can keep your TempDB files on D drive, because even if you lose D drive, no problem. As I said, TempDB files are just for temporary purpose. So you can keep your TempDB files on D drive. So this drive is nothing but D drive. Okay, you are getting 150 GB of D drive, and you will get 8 files, 8 data disks. And see the throughput, it is saying 19,000 IOPS, 19,000 IOPS for 4 CPUs and 32 GB of RAM. So let me copy this. I need up to this level. That is good for now. Just keep that aside. And now if I choose any other series, for example, EAV4, because in my office, I've seen people using EAV4 and EASV4. So let's go with the same series, and let's go with 4 GB and 32 GB of RAM. Same thing. Now, if you see the comparison, see the IOPS, 19,000 IOPS versus 6,000 IOPS. See the variation. And even the TempDB disk, we are getting 150 here. Here we are getting 100 GB. So that is the reason. If you see every parameter with EBDS V5, they are out. You will get outplayed by this series. The other series will get outplayed in front of this series. So that is the reason Microsoft is strongly suggesting to go with EBDS series. This series. Okay. Of course, if your client is not willing, and if it costs more, that is a different story. But if you have the budget, then I strongly recommend to go with EBDS series, this series, EBDVS. I mean, the names are very difficult, but that's how it looks. Let's see, we got the output. It's still running. Oh, sorry, it's there in the background. Now see, I got the IOPS calculation. So these are the IOPS what I got with the speed of this many mega bits per second. So if you want, you can go with sequential IO or else random IO, but in real time, it will be always random IO for sure. So on average, if you see, it is going up slowly up to 8,000. Let me show you. And there is one more important thing that I wanted to talk. My machine is with standard D4S V3, right? My size is standard D4S V3. Let's go to D4S V3 first. D4S V3. D4S V3. Okay, I will open here, see if there is anything. D4S. Let me copy and search. Standard D4S V3. What is the IOPS that I can get? I can get up to 8,000 IOPS. 8,000 IOPS is the max what I can get with respect to standard D4S V3. And if you see here, the test what I'm running, Okay, so it won't go beyond 8,000, 8,200, 8,500 max. So that is the max capacity what this VM can withstand. Okay, so if you see the IOPS, an average, it's if you take the average, maybe 5,000 or 6,000, but the maximum size here is 8,300 or 8,400 max. So not more than what they have recommended. 8,000 is the upper limit. I'm getting somewhere here close to that 8,200 max. What I can see is 8,200, not more than that. So I am saying you can trust this PowerShell script and you can test on your machines, and you can say, okay, these are the things what I found. If you don't have any performance counters with you, at least you can use this as a mechanism to talk to your higher management. I'm not saying this is the right way. I'm just saying if you don't have any other mechanisms, at least run the script and show them up saying that, okay, these are the IOPS what we got with this output. Okay, just a basic idea, at least to say something to your upper management that you have done something rather than sitting idle or saying no, I don't know. Okay, questions here? No questions? Did you understand? Okay, I will.
Also, Vamsi, you explained in previous class that if the application is more CPU bound, so you can choose more CPU, and application is more IO bound, you can choose more number of IOPS. So that way you could like give some insights.
That is there always. I'm not denying that. That is CPU bound query and IO bound query, what you are saying, right?
Yeah.
That is something different from what we are discussing. But
okay.
Okay, so yeah, if application is CPU bound, choose more CPU. IO bound, if it is, then go with IO. But I'm talking about series here, where you have to choose the right series. Okay, it is about storage, IOPS. We are talking about IOPS. And one more thing, if you don't know how to calculate IOPS, at least as a starting point, you can run this script to show that, okay, these are the IOPS what we are getting. As someone said, sure. I think Vijay said SQL stress. Yes, you have to use SQL stress. But the problem with SQL stress is you have to use at the beginning. And if you are doing it right now, you can run some scripts to find out the IOPS, but not the right way. Once you have the server in place, I think it's difficult to run those tools. I thought of showing you disk speed also. That is also one more tool that you can use to find out how your storage looks. But if you wanted to talk to your storage team, at least if you can project the output something like this, it's okay. You can say, and now you can use Azure Data Studio and show to your higher management saying that Azure Data Studio has recommended this, and this is the script what I am using to calculate the IOPS, and this is how it looks. If you are satisfied with the IOPS, then you can go with this series or that series. You can choose wisely. For example, if you run the script on your on-premises server, and if you get IOPS as 8,000, okay, 8,000. So then what is the series that you have to choose out of all these series? So now you can go here and you can scroll down and you can choose the IOPS. Based on IOPS, you can choose the corresponding mission. Sorry, I'm muting you, Hemant. Okay, you can choose the CPUs and memory accordingly. And there is one more important thing that you have to understand. This is cached and uncached. There is something by name cached and uncached. What is cached and what is uncached? Just like our RAM, we have main memory, right? And you have cache memory, right? If you take memory, usually we call it as RAM. And to support RAM, there is something more they have introduced long time back by name cache memory. So even in CPUs, we have the concept of caches here. We have L1 cache, L2 cache, L3 cache in CPUs also. We have the concept starting with memory. That's how it started. And then they extended that same feature with CPUs also. In CPUs, we have L1 cache, L2 cache, L3 cache. In the similar way, they extended the technology for storage also. For storage also, if you are running any important stuff, to keep them in the cache, they introduced something by name storage cache. That is called as storage cache. Okay, we have 3 caches at memory level, at CPU level, and at storage level also. So the parameters what they are giving is for uncached, there is one more thing by name cached. So I will show you what is cached. Just a second. All these are bit advanced, guys, but I'm just showing you. I mean, these are the different things what we can get. This is what I'm talking about, caching. Caching, this is very important setting for your performance of Azure VMs. If you have data files, then you have to go with read only. If you have log files, then that drive should be set with host caching as none. Again, I repeat, for log files, it is none. For data files, it is read only. We should never go with read write for any of our files, whether it is data file or log file. No way it should be read write. It should be always read only for data files, and for log files, it should be none. This is about caching. And if you enable caching, it gives more potential for your storage. From storage side, you will get more benefits. Okay, so something internal, but I'm just letting you know. You don't need to go up to this level, but as someone asked in my questions on the WhatsApp, so I can share this script is useful for now. If you don't have any performance counters, if you have performance counters, then you have to use these counters to project them up to your higher management. These 5 counters. This is the right way. Actually, this is the right way. You have to run performance counters to show them up. If you don't have performance counters and you don't have time, then at least you can use this script and show them up. Okay, this is the kind of IOPS what we are getting. I ran this, and if you have bigger databases, there is one thing that you have to understand, the size, the parameter here. So I ran it for 1 GB. So what is that? This one, size as 1 GB, but you can give bigger number and get the right sizes for your VMs. Okay, we have something by name, where is that? At the bottom. See, the possible values are 1, 5, 10, 50, 1000 GB, means 1 terabyte. If you increase the size, you will get the right IOPS. Because this is a test environment, I have just given 1 GB. But if you wanted to test it properly, you have to give it a longer size, bigger size. As I said, small IO is for IOPS and large IO is for data transfer rates. So if you wanted to know IOPS, you have to go with small IO. Everything is written properly here. I just followed this documentation, this website. Got it?
Is the cache the same as the page file?
Page
The
file is
cache.
different. No, page file is different. We're not talking about page file here. Page
So
file,
the cache is not,
yeah. Go
the
ahead.
cache is not part of the storage. It is part of the storage, yes?
Which one? Paging?
No, the cache is when we specify the storage, we specify whether the cache is read only or none, and so on.
Cache. Okay, cache,
Yeah.
you can check from here. If you one more thing, this settings, you can run a PowerShell script. I think I have a PowerShell script on my servers to see if your data files are being placed with read only or none. I mean, log files with none and read only with data files. So you have to check that on your environments. If you have any VMs, and that too, if that is any important production servers, you have to check this option. This will help you to gain some performance. So this is about host caching. I think I discussed something, but I'm not sure in which class. This is very difficult to show up with a demo. It's not possible. Few things I cannot show demos, but I'm letting you know the importance of this setting. As you can see, with disk caching enabled, VMs can achieve higher levels of performance. That is the importance of this setting, host caching. For every disk, data files, read only, log files, none. Keep an eye on that setting. The paging file is something different. I just got the term like paging file. Paging file is like virtual memory. That is a different concept, and I don't want to go out there. That's different altogether. Okay, let's move on. And I think questions, third series, right? Okay, I opened this one. I forgot that. Part 1, I think Harsha has already given answers and most of them are perfectly fine. If you have any question that you would like to know from me, just let me know, because Harsha has given answers for part 1 and part 2. Any specific question that you would like to know from me, like specific answer out of these 10 questions? So first thing, AD group job owner, not possible. CheckDB estimate only. It gives us the TempDB size. Emergency mode. Okay, if your database is not available, then only you should go with emergency mode. If it is just a non-cluster index corruption, you don't need to go with emergency mode. Don't say blind answer saying that, okay, if you get corruption, it is emergency mode, say single user rollback, repair allow data loss and multi-user. No, 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 no. Stop that nonsense. Only if your database is not reachable, if you are not able to connect, if it is something like suspect, then only you should use emergency mode. If your database is online and is available, don't go with emergency mode. It's not required. Yeah, this question is about how will you ensure that there is no data loss after the repair. So if you perform repair and you don't know like whether it caused any data loss or not. So for that reason, I ask you to take the row count and safeguard that row count so that after the CheckDB operation, you can check the final row count. And if you find any mismatch, at least you can say, okay, this table got affected and these many rows got affected. So if you don't do that, you never know how many rows got deleted. So that will be a problem. So always take a row count if you are dealing with any if you are going ahead with repair allow data loss. Can we have DB owner as AD group? No, that is not possible. Only individual users are allowed. It's not possible to have a group name as a owner for your databases. SP change users login report, it gives only SQL logins. If you wanted to find out Windows level logins, it is SP underscore validate logins. So that is the answer. Distributor admin, yes, this is very important. And if you're changing the password for distributor admin, don't go like this and change the password. Like don't go to syslogins and try to change from here. This is not the right way to change the password of distributor admin. You have to go here. I think replication app setup something, I believe. So here, not here. Let me go publication. There is some setting here where you can click and it will give you an option for distributor admin to change the password for distributor admin. Let me see where it is. I think distributor, yeah, update replication passwords. If you wanted to update any passwords, you have to do it from here. Okay, keep an eye on this setting. Don't do it from there because you have to do it in each and every place. If you have multiple subscribers, multiple publishers, then it's not possible. So if you can do it from here, it will update everywhere. So that's why I said, keep an eye on this setting. Update replication passwords. I think distributor properties also will get something by name distributor admin. I'm not sure. I need to check that part. I think here. Distributor admin is here. Keep an eye on these two settings. Of course, no one will ask you up to this level, but still I'm letting you know. If you disable cluster index, then you cannot perform any writes. DML, insert, update, delete will fail. So one guy, he contacted me saying that some of his junior DBS disabled the cluster index, what he needs to do now. So if you disable the cluster index, you are gone. You are completely gone. So don't ever try to disable cluster index. Log shipping as reporting solution, yes, you can use, but every time you have to apply log backups every now and then. So in that case, your connections would get disconnected. You will get killed. So you are allowed to run only small reports, not lengthy reports. Long running reports is not suitable for log shipping. That is a straightforward answer. This I think Harsha has already answered. Non-cluster indexes you will not get by default. You have to change the replication settings. Inside the publication, you have to set this up. So let me show you quickly. I think I have this one. Articles. So if I take this up, there is something you need to understand. And that is nothing but copy non-cluster indexes. So by default, it is false. If you change this to true, sorry, you can see this, right? Copy non-cluster index. This is false. If you change this to true, then those settings would get affected. So in my opinion, you can maintain different indexes on publisher and different indexes on subscribers, because subscribers is mainly meant for reporting and publisher is mainly meant for DML operations. If that is the case, you have to use wisely with respect to indexes. You need not enable this as true. That is the reason Microsoft is also kept this as false as a default option. Okay, these are the 10 questions. The next series is with how will you find out when the CheckDB was last run? Okay, this is a funny interview question. Sorry. What is your opinion with this events? SP read error log. When you run error log, so you will see something with CheckDB in your environments for sure. What's your take on that part? Not here, but usually you will get messages with CheckDB inside your error logs. Does it mean it ran CheckDB? I'm pretty sure you will get something with CheckDB. I'm not getting here, but in your environments, you will definitely get. If you see something inside your error logs with respect to CheckDB, does it mean it started CheckDB? I mean, it ran CheckDB?
It generally says 0 errors found and 0 errors repaired.
Yeah,
like
something
that.
it will talk about CheckDB, right? So that is nothing but, remember guys, if you see something with CheckDB inside your error logs, it means that it will just show you up the last CheckDB run date for your databases. Okay, you can get it from here. I think Asha has already given the right answer. But if you see any CheckDB information here, when you start the instance, it means it is not running CheckDB. It is just logging you the last successful run of your CheckDBs. So I just used to ask this question to see how, like, will they get confused or not? So that is the reason I asked this. If you see any messages inside the error logs, it doesn't mean that CheckDB has run. It's just giving you the information of the last run of the CheckDB. Okay. So I think second questions Harsha has already answered. So third is the one that I need to talk. That is the reason I said, what's your understanding with DBCC CheckDB message that gets inside their logs? Okay, so it will just show you up the last run date of CheckDB. It is not running CheckDB. That is the important thing that you have to remember. Okay, so on manage instance, how many TempDB files would get created? Anyone knows this?
12.
12.
Yeah, you guys are reading my videos. I mean, watching my videos, I can
No, by
say.
heart.
Oh, by hearting. Okay. So if I ask the same question for Azure SQL, then what is your call?
2. I meant to say like 1 there and like 1 log, just 1 item.
I mean, TempDB data files.
1.
1. So will it be 1 for all the cases or will it get changed?
Will get changed.
When will it get changed?
Maybe I forgot.
So
That
when
depends upon the load actually.
No, it
So-
it depends upon the course what you choose.
Yeah,
Okay,
course.
it comes with course. So if you increase the course, your TempDB files would get increased automatically. So keep an eye with the number of vCores. So if I change that, I think I've shown this in one of my classes. I don't know where it is, but I'm pretty sure if you change the course, your TempDB files would get changed. So keep an eye with respect to.
But those are not managed by DBS, right?
No,
see?
it's not managed by DBS, but at the same time, if someone comes with this kind of interview question, he wants to test like whether you know the concepts or not. Here, his main intention is TempDB files are being managed by Microsoft. Of course, all the files, when you say platform as a service world, you don't have the control. They are placing the files on their respective systems. We don't have any control. But if you increase the course, your TempDB files would get increased as well. Just an suggestion. Okay, just a thing that you have to remember. Next question is like high availability for managed instance. What's your take on this question?
Yeah, it's inbuilt features in managed instance.
So we have two things here, general purpose and business critical. For business critical, you don't need to configure any high availability. Just remember that point. Always, I think someone was asking me quite a lot on this topic. I'm letting you know again, general purpose or business critical, they comes with high availability automatically for you. In case of business critical, you will get 4 replicas. You can use those replicas, one of the replicas for reporting also. So Microsoft itself is doing HA for your managed instance. You don't need to do any separate HA. You are just doing auto failure groups for disaster recovery. It's not for high availability. Remember this point. It is inbuilt. If someone asks you to configure HA for your managed instance, then they are fooling you. Okay, there is no concept of high availability for managed instance. Managed instance high availability is being driven by Microsoft itself. Fourth question, very common question. I think I asked number of times. Difference between general purpose and business critical is general purpose is just like our failover clusters.
Vamsi, for even for SQL, Azure SQL or PaaS, we don't require HA, right? So because
no, we don't require HA.
Azure is giving 99.9%
that's true.
availability.
That's true. We don't require HA for platform as a service. That is the main important stuff. I mean, you are getting that advantage also compared to your IAS, where you have to configure always on or failover clusters. You don't need anything over here. They are coming inbuilt with inbuilt feature. GPBC difference, they just expect you two things. General purpose, its architecture is something similar to failover cluster. Business critical, its architecture is just like our always on with 4 replicas, leaving out the primary. I think including primary it is 4. Yeah, including primary it is 4. And you have 3 reporting replicas, but you can use only one among them. Very important thing is storage. Storage is locally associated with business critical, whereas storage is associated remotely for general purpose. This is very important. GP, storage remote, BC, storage local. Means all your data files will be placed remotely in case of GP, whereas those are placed locally in case of business critical. Just keep an eye. Very, very important. Because if someone asks you to choose GP or BC, of course it is cost oriented. BC is very cost. GP is very less. Why it is less? Because your storage is placed remotely. So you will see latency in case of general purpose. For example, on premises, your storage will be placed on your data center, within your data center, right? So you move your database from on premises to general purpose. Okay. And imagine your queries are very IO bound and you placed your database on general purpose. What happens in such case? Definitely you will see latencies. Obviously, because your storage is placed remotely. So that is very tricky. So once you are driving any migration, you have to talk about this point. Storage. Okay. So what are different ways to connect to the managed instance? I think this is the class where we discuss about that point. Private endpoint, VNet endpoint. I think we discussed this, right? 1 second. This is the video. I think we discussed about that different ways. Storage is locally, storage is LRS. No, see, Mujahid, you have to understand. This is for backups. For backups, you will see LRS, geo redundant, zone redundant, something like that. But your storage for general purpose, it will be local, and for business critical, it is general purpose, it is remote, and business critical, it is local. I don't know if others are understanding, but if you don't talk, I will be very confused.
Oh, we got it, Vamsi.
Okay, 1 second. Where is that video where I've shown different ways to connect to manage instance? Yeah, this one. Different ways of connecting to manage instance. So I've shown private endpoints, public endpoint, and VNet endpoint. These are the 3 ways. So that is the answer for this. Like you can watch that video to get proper understanding. Partition views, Just wait for a few more days, guys. I'm going to give you a great deep dive on what is it? Partitioning. So I'm preparing my demos. I'm almost there. So once I complete those demos, we'll get to know everything about partitioning. Just wait for a few more days. I will answer partition views there. This is a very common question. When you have multiple instances of memory, how will you adjust the memory? How will you give memory? What happens in case of standalone server where we have multiple instances? For example, on my machine, I have two instances, 2017 and 2019. I need to distribute my memory for those two instances. So what should I do in such case? Let's talk about
Actually, I
standalone.
got this question, Vamsi, recently. So I was asked the same question, like you have two instances on a server, and like let's say you have like 20 GB of memory, and like how would you split that? So what I said is like 20% I will allocate to the OS, and the rest of the 80% I'll split like half for each as max memory for each instance is what I answered.
That is true. Just add one more thing based on the criticality of your instance. For example, if you are installing development test together on one box, okay, you are having some budget constraints, and you have development and test environments running on the same box. If that is the case, you will try to give a big amount for test and less amount for dev. So you can add that point also. It depends upon your criticality. And if you wanted one instance to run on a bit higher side compared to other, then I will give more memory, max server memory to that instance compared to the other. What you said is right. You have to give at least 15 to 20% for your OS, and the rest should go with our SQL Server instances. And between that instances, depending upon your importance, you can give a bit more memory to that mission compared to others. So that should be our answer when you have multiple. Same thing goes with cluster also. Doesn't matter. If node gets failed over, both the nodes will sit on one node and there will be a problem. Okay. So always, even though the memory is there in SQL Server clustered environments, will not give you the entire memory. For example, if I have 128 GB of RAM and it is active cluster, so what should be the memory configuration? So again, the same concept, I have to leave at least 15 to 20% for memory, and the rest of the memory. So for example, node 1 is having 128, node 2 is having 128. Let's discuss about this. This is very important. I don't know how many of you have this kind of setup. So two nodes are there. Node 1 with 128 GB RAM and SQL 1 as the instance. This is active instance, means I will have two instances, node 2, 128, SQL 2. So now I have to configure memory for these instances. So what is the option? 20%, I would say, for example, let's say, for example, I'm leaving at least 20 GB to OS, just a random number, 20 GB to OS. So now I'm left with 100 to 110, 100 to 110 GB for SQL Server. Here also I can give 100 to 110, right? So will you give 100 to 110 here, or for example, if you have given something like 100 GB to SQL Server, okay, and now if this node gets corrupted due to some reason, it is not working fine. So what happens? SQL2 comes over here. It jumps over here. So now SQL1 is with 100 GB and SQL2 is also with 100 GB. Sorry, Control Z. Oh, sorry. SQL1 is with 100 GB and SQL2 is also with 100 GB. Do you think we have 200 GB of memory?
No.
That is a problem. So if you just give the default numbers, so SQL will compete, and there's no way for node 1 to accommodate both the servers. If that is the case, once it gets failed over, you have to tune your memory, or else based upon importance. For example, if SQL2 is development and SQL1 is production, so you can just give 90 GB for SQL1. Just imagine, because we had this kind of environment where on Node 2 we'll have some development, and Node 1 will have some production. So I'm giving 90 GB for my production, and for Node 2, even though this is 128 GB, I don't give 90 GB or 100 GB for SQL. I'll just give 10 GB here. I'll just give 10 GB. That's it. Because this is a development server, I will just give 10 GB. And imagine if SQL1 and SQL2 is both of production, then what should I do? What should I do is, there are two answers for this. Either you can go with, for example, 55 GB to SQL and 55 GB here as max memory, so that in case node gets failed over, at least both of the machines, both of the instances can run on node 1. This is one answer. And the other answer is, okay, just give 100 GB here. But once it gets failed over, again, you need to distribute your memory, something like 55. So it is like proactive and reactive. Proactive answer is just give 55 so that even it gets failed over, no worries. Reactive answer is, if it gets failed over, adjust the memory so that it is not going beyond your max memory capacity. So that is the answer, what I can say. Proactive or reactive approach, it is up to them to choose what they want.
Okay.
Okay, what is your take on total server memory and target server memory? What's your take if total server memory is greater than target server memory? What is total server memory, first of all? Okay, see here, my total server memory is right now it is 2.7 GB, whereas my target server memory is 13 GB. Okay, so total server memory is nothing but what SQL is consuming right now is total server memory, and what you are setting inside the max server memory, that is your target server memory. Again, I repeat, total server memory is nothing but current usage of SQL Server is total server memory, and what you have set inside your max memory, that is your target server memory. So usually total and target will be same. And if you're just starting your instance, the total server memory will try to catch up the target server memory. Okay, so because SQL Server, once you get restart the instance or once you restart your server, it will be less. So once SQL Server starts consuming, the total will catch up target. And in case if total is greater than target, then it means it requires more memory. So you have to add memory. Keep an eye. If total is more than target, usually it won't happen. But if that is the case, and if you're seeing that consistently, then it is shortage of memory. You will see some messages oriented with memory also, like it will dump the memory contents. What is the DBCC memory status will also give you the same output. So that is my call. If your total is greater than target, it needs more memory. And if your target is more than total, it means you are not set the max server memory properly. Okay, here don't think that I have not set the max server memory properly. This happens usually when you restart the server. When you just start the server, total will try to catch up the target. Once it get caught up, then both will be same. Usually both will be same. And if you're seeing a lot of differences even after the restart and even after running the server for 7 to 15 days of restart, and still if your target server memory is high, that means you have given more memory to SQL Server. So you have to reduce your target server memory. Understood? I don't know. I'm stopping.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm stopping with the. I will take these two questions later because I need to do some things. So I will take these two questions in my next class. But this is very important question, last question, and perhaps if time permits, I will try to show them up with a demo. Because these are the
Vamsi,
things
I
that you
just
can
have
show.
one question.
Yeah.
Like in your words, like I just want to understand like three things. That is like whenever we like configure like the temp data files, so we look at the processor count and then socket core. So that in your words, I just want to like hear in a quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you have.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hear it
I
from
got
you
it. So
for understanding.
TempDB usually it says 8 files, right? More.
Yes.
Depend upon the processors. If you have more processors, then for 4 CPUs you should go with 1 file. That's what they say. But my take on that is what we are doing. I mean, with my experience, what I'm saying is for TempDB files, for example, if I have 8 CPUs, for example, if you have 8 CPUs, I don't go with 8 TempDB files. I will go with 4 TempDB files.
Okay.
My call is take the off of the files. Means if you have 8 CPUs, go with 4 TempDB files. That's good enough. Starting, you should go with only 4 TempDB files. If at all, if you are seeing issues with TempDB, then try to increase the files. Try to increase the files. But my initial take on that is it should be off of your number of CPUs.
Okay.
For example, if you have 16 CPUs, go with 8. That's good enough. If you have 24 CPUs, again here, go with 8 because as Microsoft says, don't go beyond 8. Yes, I do follow that principle. But if your CPU count is up to 8, then I don't go with 8 files. I will go with 4 files.
Okay. That's all.
Okay. So yeah, I need to go urgently, guys. I'm sorry. I need to stop
Yeah.
here. I will upload the session later. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the group or else you can ping me directly. It's up to you. I will explain these 2 questions in my next class and I will prepare the next 10 questions.
Yeah,
So
thank you, Vamsi.
yeah, no problem. So what we discussed in just conclusion, we discussed about the profiler events, RPC completed, SP statement completed, those 5 events. And then we discussed about IOPS and about these interview questions. So if you have anything, any question, please feel free to ask me in the group or else personally. It's up to you. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thanks for your time. I'll catch you later.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.